Hi, everybody. I just said, oh God, probably like 5 times in 20 seconds that it was time to start. Thank you, everybody, for showing up. Thank you, Mike, for your donation. I really appreciate it. I'll give people like 1 minute and then I'll get into what I have prepared. I don't have any PowerPoint files because yesterday, what we're here to discuss is there were, I think, about 120 documents released and unsealed from the Delphi case. I spent like 3.5 hours summarizing each one in a Word document, and it took me like 3.5 hours to get through the first 60. So I finally finished last night, and I made a Word document that's 30 pages long. So we are going to review, I guess, the most interesting points that were revealed. So as I was going through, sorry, I'm focusing on too many different things. I highlighted like which ones were the most interesting. So I'm going to start off with just the most interesting stuff. We're not going through all 120 documents. I am setting a time limit for 2 hours for this live chat. I know usually I say 3 hours, but I'm going to try and stick to 2 hours this time. How many? Oh God, 146 people. All right, we're going to get right into it. Hi, everybody who's saying hi to me. Let's take this off the screen. Hold on. So, hold on. Here we go. I am going to read this for maybe it's going to take 10 minutes. I know it's kind of boring, but some of you said that you have not read these documents. So I just want you to know like what the most interesting points are. All right. Yeah. And also my face turns red sometimes. So my camera is messed up. So tonight is the first time where I opened the camera app at the same time. And it looks like I'm in higher resolution, which I only prefer to be seen in low resolution. So who knows what's going to happen with my face today. Tom, shut up and get to the good stuff. Okay, here we go. I'm going off screen and I'm going to show you my Word document and I'm going to just read this for like 10 minutes because that's fun. Wait, here we go. I did a Tom laugh. Let me make that a little bit bigger so you guys can see. We love awkward silence. All right, hold on. How does that look? All right, we're going to go with this. So here we go. I'm not looking at the chat for like the next 10 minutes. So, hello. There were, sorry, hold on. Give me 1 second. Technical difficulties. Sorry, the camera app was covering this up. So here we go. There were 120 documents that I read. The file numbers are the order in which they were listed in a zip file. So all these documents were in what's called the zip file. And I just went from the top down to the bottom and I numbered them. Like the one at the top, I numbered number 1. So the most interesting revelations, and then in parentheses, I have the doc number. So in 5 and 6, it said the bullet found was microscopically tested and matched a test through Rick's gun, but it really didn't specify, was that test fired or just ejected? We can talk about that later. In document 9, it said it was a draft, but it said that Rick was moved to Cass County, but it wasn't really signed by the judge. So I don't know if they made a draft. There were quite a few of these draft documents that were not dated or signed, which I was kind of confused why they would even include those in what was released. Document number 37 at the top here, motion to convert let bail hearing into a suppression hearing, that the accused files contemporaneously his motion to suppress fruits of the search of his home. And Rick's lawyers previously said that Rick has nothing to hide. So now they're like, oh yeah, we just have to hide everything they found at his house. So, because he's not guilty. We'll get to that later. Document 39, up here, I just pasted the full file name just so it would be easier for me. At some point, I might do a YouTube video. This is a 30-page Word document. And for people who might be interested in seeing a summary of all 120 documents so you don't have to read them, I might do that at some point over the next week. So document 39, it was filed by Robert Baston, who Murder Sheet had a recent episode, probably within the past 3 weeks, where they talked about this guy. I forget what the title of their episode was, but this guy, he's in jail in the same unit near Rick. He's in jail for, I think he was at an outside party and some 6-year-old girl went into the woods and he did something really inappropriate to her and she survived, but then she told on him immediately. And so he's in jail for that crime against her. I think from what the murder sheet said, he has a history of complaining and maybe filing lawsuits. So this was dated April 11th. Some of you might remember in my case, which is the Indiana State, it's like where they file all these court documents. We saw that there was a letter from an inmate and we didn't know if it was Rick or somebody else. And it turns out it was from this guy, Robert Baston. So the summary here that I did, these are all summaries that I just kind of did the highlights of each document. So this is from Robert Baston. His letter said, to clerk of courts from inmate in the same unit as Rick. He said Rick is being mistreated as well as other inmates are being mistreated. There are corrupt officers and they are teasing Rick and calling him a kid killer. Other inmates are telling Rick to kill himself. There are further allegations of prison corruption in his letter. And he said that on this past March 21st and April 9th, he attempted suicide. And after that, he said, for IDOC, if you see this in other parts, it's the Indiana Department of Corrections, which is like their prison and jail system. So he said IDOC hasn't provided him with any mental health treatment after he tried to commit suicide twice. And then I think today there was a filing on my case where it seems like Rick's lawyer, Rosie, is trying to meet with this guy, Robert Baston, I guess, to try and verify if what he's saying is true. And obviously the defense might say, oh, well, the officers are teasing Rick. We need to get him out to Cass County, right across from Rosie's office, so he doesn't have to drive anymore. He can walk right over. Next document is number 53, which I wrote up here as the most interesting. It was filed by the prosecution. The date was April 20th. Motion for leave of court to subpoena third-party records. So these are my summary, although I do have some quotes that are pretty interesting. So requested all mental health records from Westville, which is where Rick is at. It had a summary of the case, which all of us have pretty much read, that initial PCA summary. It said that clothes belonging to both Abby and Libby were found in Deer Creek. The references to witnesses in the PCA were initials in this document, although later they showed their full names, which is kind of ridiculous. In my chat, please do not write these witnesses' full names and stuff. We all know these various nicknames that have been given to these witnesses and stuff, so please just use those instead of their real names to protect their privacy. Let's see. Oh, so the references to witness and PCA were initials. Rick's cell, his jail cell or prison cell, is recorded on video. I guess it's 24 hours a day. I don't know how much they've saved because he's now been in jail or prison for 8 months. He was arrested October 26th. That's 8 months from now, right? Rick was placed on a suicide watch based on his statements at Westville, but then he was taken off when his mental health improved over the months. He had rec time, which is short for recreation, and was exercising. In general, they said he was quiet, read a lot of books, did crossword puzzles, and he exercised daily. Then this is where it gets interesting. On April 3rd, Rick called his wife, Kathy, and, quote, admits several times that he killed Abby and Libby. Later in that same quote, his wife, Kathy Allen, ends the phone call abruptly, end quote. Before I read on, so this safekeeping order that the defense filed, I guess in April or May, they had a typo in there where they said, I think April 24th is when the defense went to see Rick and he was fine. And then they saw him again April 3rd or April 4th, and he was totally out of it. So it seems maybe like a defense tactic when they found out that Rick said on the phone, yeah, I'm guilty. They needed to think, okay, well, how are we going to get him off of the charges? So I don't know. We can talk about that later, or you guys can talk about it in chat while I'm busy doing other things. Next. Soon after, defense filed motion to modify the safekeeping order, which is what I just said. Rick was, quote, wetting down paperwork he had gotten from his attorneys and eating it He was refusing to eat and refusing to sleep. He would go days on end refusing to sleep. He further broke the tablet that he used for text messages and phone calls. He went from making up to 2 phone calls a day as of April 3rd to not making any phone calls at all, and has not made a phone call since April 3rd when he confessed supposedly to his wife. Things that make you go, April 14th, about like 10 days later, 11 days later, Rick was evaluated by 2 psychiatrists and 1 psychologist to discuss his turn in behavior and a need for involuntary medication. It was determined that Rick did not need involuntary medication or to be moved to another facility. Since that meeting, Rick began to eat and sleep. Well, it doesn't look like it in his recent appearance on June 15th in court. That was shady. Behavior began to return to what it was prior to making the admission on April 3rd in his phone call to his wife. The prosecution believes there is a Westville video evidence that will include Rick's admissions plus his behavior prior to the admissions and directly after. So if the defense is saying, oh, on April 3rd is when Rick started acting cuckoo, will the prosecution get access to Westville video from Rick's cell where he's really not acting that different, other than, I guess, not eating for a few days in a row? So the reason for that court document was the prosecution needs records to refute the defense claims about Rick being mistreated at Westville. Here's another interesting one. It's document 60. It was filed by the prosecution. The date was June 13th, and the title was State's Objection to Defendant's Motion for Order on Continuing Disclosure of Defendant's Mental Health Records. So the state wants access to Rick's mental health records due to the defense allegation of lack of competency in their emergency motion to modify safekeeping order and the request for due process hearing, letters from the defense about Rick's mental stability at Westville. Here's a quote, that the defendant has admitted that he committed the, let me start over. Let me drink from my Taco Bell cup, hold on. Quote, that the defendant has admitted that he committed the offenses that he is charged with no less than 5 times while talking to his wife and his mother on the public jail phones available at the Indiana Department of Corrections, end quote. The state believes, which is the prosecution, these admissions are going to be challenged by the defense because of a lack of competency of the defendant. The state is concerned about the ability to respond without knowing if the defendant is competent or not. So that's why the state wants access to his mental health record. So next up, I think I have 2 more of these documents. This one's very interesting. Number 61, filed by the prosecution, date June 13th. The state's objection to the defendant's motion to suppress the evidence, like I said before, where they want to suppress and hide everything that the police found at Rick's house, which I'm going to get into what they found. So May 19th, the defense motion to suppress evidence from Rick's house, where it was searched on October 13th of last year. The defense said that search warrant lacked probable cause. It failed to establish items to be seized were in the residence or could be expected to be in the residence, that the affidavit failed to provide particular information that particular items related to the particular crime would be found in the home, and that the affidavit failed to connect generic items to actual items that were possibly used in the crime. Investigators reviewed Delphi evidence. Oh yeah, this was interesting. The investigators reviewed Delphi evidence, and on September 21st of 2022 is when they found Rick's interview, and they gave it to Detective Tony Liggett. After that, they reviewed witness timelines and statements. They looked at the Hoosier Harbor Store video, which showed Rick's car headed to CPS. And with some other stuff, they decided to, you'll see right here, on October 13th, they asked Rick and his wife to speak to them to follow up on that 2017 interview that was lost, who knows why. The law enforcement believes a knife was used in the murders, which we pretty much all know. Based on October 13th answers talking to Rick and his wife, law enforcement prepared a search warrant on that same day for their home and knocked on the door at 5 p.m. and they finished around 7:09 p.m. Previously, we've heard it was like from noon to 11 p.m. and in my recent evidence video, I suggested maybe when Tony Liggett showed up in around sunset, it was just to get a second search warrant for Rick's car to be towed. But as usual, I was wrong. So I was surprised to see there was only about 2 hours that they actually searched. Let's see, witness 4, the Muddy Bloody witness, and one of the juveniles who passed Rick near Freedom Bridge said that the man they passed, which Rick admitted passing at least those 3 juveniles, they said that guy that they saw matched the man in the screenshot from Libby's video. So I have this document, but I think it's easier for me just to review it this way. So I typed out everything. I wrote up here, show the PDF, but it's too confusing. So all these items were sealed in evidence bags or boxes. So this says return from the October 13th search of Rick's home. The Sig Sauer P226 gun we all knew about. A gun cartridge was kept in a wooden keepsake box on the dresser in their bedroom, in Rick's bedroom. A cartridge, I'm pretty sure is like, actually, I don't know what it is. I was going to say a magazine, which holds like up to 10 or so bullets, or are they called casings or cartridges? I probably should have looked this up before hundreds of people are watching me live. Yeah, I don't know. Sorry. You guys can correct me. I know some people are more knowledgeable in the chat. So like write cartridge equals what? It's not just the bullet. I think it's, and it's not the magazine that holds all the cartridges. I think it's just one individual thing that you put into the gun and then you shoot it and the bullet comes out of the casing. Sorry, I'm a little bit confused here. And it said next up was a gun cartridge in the gun. There were 2 gun magazines. So like I just said, one of them was holding 8 bullets / cartridges. So yeah, I guess I correct myself here. And the other was holding 9 bullets / cartridges. Some people have said there are different magazines which can hold various numbers of cartridges. So I don't know if there's anything that we could like figure out to say, oh, well, why are there, if it's a 10 cartridge magazine, why are 2 of them missing and why is one of them missing from here? There was a handgun case. There was a wooden weave box with 2 quote unquote audio Vox devices, 2 Motorola phones, 4 car chargers, 3 outlet chargers, 2 turtle doves, and a partridge in a pear tree. 1 gigabyte memory card. So for people who don't know what a memory card is, it's something that holds files like pictures, videos, PowerPoint files, Excel files. Next up, Thorogood boots. Rick wore a size 7.5, black boots, size 6.5. There were a bunch of different line items for a variety of knives. I counted about 13 different knives were taken. Let me just stop before I move on. Obviously, if we think that, or if the murders happened by knife, did police find any DNA matching the girls on any of these knives? There were 4 multi-tools, which I guess are like Swiss Army knife type things. Correct me in the chat if I'm wrong. Let me just go up here. A blue jacket. He has a lot of clothes. He's a fashion icon like Tony Klein. He had a blue jacket with red stripes, a blue 1/4 zip sweatshirt, a black and green fox hooded sweatshirt, a black and gray North End coat, a blue Carhartt coat, Timberland boots size 8, 3 pairs of blue Arizona jeans. He wears a size 34 waist by 29 legs. Like his waist is longer than his legs. 2 pairs, oh, so shady. 2 pairs of blue Levi Strauss jeans. So I had a member chat yesterday and I was wondering, I mean, if he is Bridge Guy and the killer, which it seems like he is, if he has all these different pairs of blue jeans, would his wife have really noticed if he threw out 1 pair? So I don't know that he would even still have, if he committed the murders, he would still have those jeans from that day. I doubt it. A winter gray hat with fur-like fibers. If you remember, the Ron Logan search warrant referenced, I think it was unknown fibers and unidentified hairs. It was something, either switch those around, but I know it's those 2 U words, like unidentified and unknown, but fibers and hair. So I don't know if this means like maybe they check this gray hat with fur-like fibers to see if it matched any fibers found at the scene. If you're bored, I should be finishing this part up in 2 or 3 minutes. Black and red UFC hooded sweatshirt, a 1/4 zip George sweatshirt. Can somebody tell me what a 1/4 zip sweatshirt is? Does that only go down to about your chest or something? Black and blue 1/4 zip Walmart sweatshirt, a blue George sweatshirt that is 1/4 zip, a blue Kenneth Cole sweatshirt, a blue Fruit of the Loom sweatshirt, a blue starter sweatshirt. He has a lot of sweatshirts. A black spider hooded sweatshirt, a blue sweatshirt with an old label, a blue Adidas sweatshirt. And then I highlighted this one, a brown fitted cap with a small bill. If you remember, there were some talk about like a painter's cap. And I think a lot of us have tried to figure out what bridge guy is wearing on his head. And it looks kind of army green in some shots. It looks maybe brown or red. So I don't know if this is maybe that hat that he was wearing that day or not. A black WRI stocking cap, a black NASCAR Ford Racing stocking cap, a black Adidas stocking cap, a red, white, and gray brown Canada stocking cap, which if you watch my evidence video, I think these are like those things where I said it's like from the Adam Levine collection. A gray and black Adidas skull cap. We're almost done. Actually, we haven't even gotten to his phone or his phones yet. Hold on. Gray. I know this is boring, but you need to memorize all this stuff. Gray and white NFL, which is a football team. Indianapolis Colts skull cap. A brown Carhartt stocking cap. 10 pairs of gloves and 1 extra glove. I mean, did he wear gloves that day and did he save them? I would imagine he would have thrown them out, especially if he has 10 other pairs. Blue fabric strap and a blue/green fabric strap, which I'm not sure what that is. 2 HP laptops, Hewlett Packard is the HP. Headbands, phone box with cellular information, a Winchester Supreme Elite empty ammo box, which is like bullets and stuff like that. Cruiser Micro 2 GB flash drive with Rick on the back. That's another thing for holding files. Another one here is 1 terabyte of hard drive, a Samsung phone, a miniature katana with a red tassel. I think that's like a miniature sword. 2 more knives, another external hard drive, an iPod, 2 more drives here. One was 32 megabyte SD card, and one was a 256 megabyte SD card, a knife and sheath. A sheath is what holds the knife, and that's what Brian Koberger left at the crime scene in that Idaho murders. Various phone chargers and accessories. They got all this stuff in 2 hours and 9 minutes. 2 pagers, 2 pagers. So I wrote here, like back in the day, in the early 2000s, that was used for like texting, if there's any young people watching. 3 Motorola and 1 LG phone, a Verizon smartphone, 3 older cell phones, AudioVox, Nokia, and Motorola, a Nokia Twist cell phone, and some documents. I think somebody said he had about 19 cell phones. So we were debating yesterday, did he have CSAM on these? A lot of people were saying, well, I also keep all my old phones, but like 19 seems to be a lot for 3 people in their house. Rick, his wife, and his daughter. A Garmin Street Pilot C340 device. I don't know if that's a GPS, like from back in the day. Custom vehicle operations, motorcycle cover bag containing a motorcycle cover. I don't even know if people are still watching this. I could be like disconnected for the past 10 minutes talking to myself. All right, I have one more document after this when we have a few more items from his house. A Pixel 3a XL cell phone, an Aquafina water bottle, an LG singular cell phone. Yeah, so if you saw my evidence video recently, I was trying to figure out who was Rick's cell phone provider. And if you saw, I think AT&T kept documents for 7 years, but a lot of these other providers only keep them for a few months to a year, including Verizon. I think I saw Singular was part of AT&T. So who knows if law enforcement has gotten any good data from those phones, or the phone that Rick was using at the crime scene, if he even turned it on. Okay, so this is interesting. This is about Rick's car. It says cutting of a carpeted area underneath the spare tire of the Ford Focus, and then it had a check mark at the end for lab examination. Last two items, a swab from a drive lap belt, so a seat belt of his car, and also a swab of the driver shoulder belt of the Ford Focus. And the last item was 2 swabs from the passenger side carpeted floor boards. So somebody in my chat yesterday said they can kind of, investigators or detectives can spray or do something where they would see where there's any kind of DNA, and that's why they would have known to like swab these particular areas of the car. So this one last one, and then we're almost done. This was document 109. So it was filed by the prosecution. The date was April 14th, and it said state's response to defense's emergency motion to modify safekeeping order. Before we just talked about Rick's April 3rd confession to his wife, or supposed confession, and then the defense was like, yeah, we need to find something. I don't know. We'll see. This document has a lot of information that was presented at the June 15th hearing. Yeah, if you want to like learn some stuff about Westville and the conditions and how the warden like refuted the defense's lies, essentially, this document's a good one to look at. The state had a meeting with Westville's warden on April 6th. So the prosecution met the warden on April 6th, 3 days after Rick's confession, and the defense allegations of mistreatment are false. Rick did not receive the discovery paperwork because Westville had to wait for the defense to advise as to how the paperwork should be handled, whether Rick should read it in his cell or in another location. But they said that they contacted the defense for several days straight, but they did not get an answer for a while. And the defense in that safekeeping order said, oh, we gave Rick all these documents, but the prison hasn't given them to him yet. It's like, well, answer your phone, homeboy. We're almost done. Outline of the conditions Rick will face if he's transferred to Cass County Jail, which aren't as extensive as Westville. Rick was to be evaluated for mental health on April 14th. Affidavit by Westville warden citing facts about conditions at the prison that contradicted the defense team's lies. And finally, Rick is not allowed face-to-face visitations due to being in the segregation unit at Westville. Although I heard he did see his wife finally for the first time in person on May 30th, along with his lawyers. So we're not going through all this stuff, but this is what I summarized for everything else. And now it's time to see what you guys have been saying for the past, oh my God, 571 people are watching. I don't even want to go on screen. All right, let me back that thing up. What do you guys think about all this stuff? Hold on. Hi, everybody. And we just got 9 more people. Wait. Hi, Trav. Thank you very much. You rock. Rick needs to get Kagan on that paper diet so he can lose those pounds. Oh my gosh. Hi, Jennifer. Thank you very much. You're the best. I appreciate it. All right, now we're going to see what you guys have been talking about. I don't know what to even start with. Oh yeah, Rick's wife put their house up for sale. So I guess she thinks he's never coming home or something. I shouldn't laugh. I feel bad for her. We can talk about that later, but I'm smiling at something in the comments, not that I feel bad for her. Yeah, so if you want to talk about Rick's wife, why is she, if he told her that he's guilty on April 3rd, why is she still showing up in court? I know a lot of us have some issues, like how could she have not recognized the voice of the man that she was married to for 25 years on the Bridge Guy audio? I mean, I can understand that she's not going to like dump him at this point. She wants to see the evidence at trial and wait for him to be convicted by a court, not just public opinion. Oh my God, some of these comments, you guys are crazy. Oh yeah, I took this in Colorado. Hi, everybody joining from all over the world. I saw somebody was staying up late in Poland. Where am I? All right. I'm sorry. There's just too many comments. Why don't we just end the chat right here? Yeah, I just went through this. Hi, Hoosier Nini. Since his wife and the mamas were in this last court hearing, do you think they are standing by their man? I think they're waiting to see him get officially convicted. Or although it's like, if he's telling 5 different people that he was involved, at what point is he going to change his plea and say to the court, okay, let's make a plea deal? If he's eating the evidence, I don't know. Eating the evidence doesn't make it go away, Rick. There's other copies. Hold on. Oh, people don't like when I say hold on. Yeah. Johannes. Hi, Johannes. I totally mess up people's names. The news about the phone calls with Rick's mother and his wife staggered me. Yeah, I think my jaw dropped. I was like, holy crap. I don't know who's my pants. I'm wearing shorts right now. I'm sweating. What's this? Rise up unafraid. Is this shocking and involved in all the things we were told this was going to be? Something doesn't feel right. I mean, it said that Rick, they have audio at least of Rick confessing to his mom and his wife. Why is he confessing if he's innocent? Yeah. Hi, Hippie. Thank you for moderating. We have an hour and a half left. I'm only doing 2 hours. Please be respectful to other people in the chat. Oh my God. Mods are part of the cover up. What are you guys talking about? I don't even know. Hi, Dave. Hate to say it, but another nothing burger from law enforcement. Well, don't you think him supposedly telling his wife that he killed Abby and Libby and then she immediately hangs up? Meerkat, hi. Please post your summaries for us to read. All right. I might do a reading of that 30-page Word document, which sounds really boring. You don't have to. I don't know what he would be blocked for. You want my pants or Rick's pants? I don't. Hoosier Nini says the house has a pending offer already, hopefully to tear it down. It was listed for, I think, $254,000. Let's see. I'm looking for comments to highlight. Yeah, I don't know what you guys are all up to. I'm going to put you all in a timeout. Hi, 7 days. Let's see. Rick's physical decline corroborates all the taunting. Yeah, but don't you think it could also have to do with, if he is truly guilty, that he's going to be having some mental issues? He's eating paper. Hi, Tessa. Wow, did they underprice the house for a quick sale? Well, I think I saw it was like previously, it might have been 160,000, but that was in like 2006 when they bought it. Hi, bud. I might be wrong about that. Alan says, what's the deal with the conservation officer? Didn't he think to mention it to anyone in 6 years, in capitals, that he spoke to a guy who placed himself on the bridge? Didn't he think to check in or follow up? So just to clarify that, I think in the first interview outside of a grocery store, he said he was on the trails from 1:30 to 3:30. It was not until the second interview, 5.5 years later, in October 13th, 2022, where he then said he was on platform 1. So just to clarify that. And what's the deal with conservation officer? I don't know. I mean, at the bottom of it, it said follow-up is to, I think it said, who are the three juveniles that Rick passed? So Rick said he passed 3 girls on the way to the High Bridge. And I don't know. It seems like this was, the interview was before the screenshot of Libby's cell phone of Bridge Guy came out. I don't know. I do have the same questions though, Alan. I'm not wearing pants. I'm wearing shorts. Oh my God. Somebody's gonna, no, they won't. 7 Days at Sea. Somebody loves your channel. I've never heard of you. Sorry, but I have heard of Nikki Venable. Welcome back, Nikki. Hi, Ira. I haven't seen you in a while. A lot of people disappear from my channel. Rick is being teased. Shouldn't have brutally slaughtered two beautiful children then, eh? Yeah, Rick is from Canada with that A at the end. I don't know. Some people don't like us accusing Rick of being a killer, and they say wait for the trial, but it seems like a lot of evidence is saying Rick is guilty, at least as in some part of this, and including from Rick's own mouth. Whether he's having some mental kind of issues and falsely admitting to being involved, I don't know. Miranda, hi. Has anyone heard anything from the cops who investigated the case? I don't know what you mean, Miranda. Were you talking about the first conservation officer? That person has not had any kind of interviews. Hi, Miss Dog Lover. Hello, Miss Dog Lover. Thanks for staying up late in the UK. I wonder why his wife still turns up in court. I think because she's waiting for an official verdict, not from YouTubers. Hi, caricature contest. Nice to see you. Rick is guilty as sin. I don't know if we're going to see a trial. It seems like Rick is not changing his plea, so I guess we'll have to wait until January. It's January 8th to the 24th, 2024. The first 3 days or so, they're going to pick jurors from Allen County and then bust them into Carroll County. And my yellow shirt looks really bright, but it's not. Hi, baby doll. Oh, this is a good point. Hi, Laura Ann. I think she ended the call only to protect his defense, not because it was a surprise to her. Good point. So I think when you receive a phone call, I haven't received phone calls from prisoners, but it says, will you accept a call from Rick Allen? I don't know if it says this call will be monitored or if Rick is told it's going to be monitored. But your point is that Rick is starting to say that he's involved in this murder. And she's like, I have to hang up the phone because that's going to be used against him. Spouses, apparently, I tried to do some research on this and say that Rick was the killer after the murders, before he was arrested. If he said to his wife, yes, I killed Abby and Libby, that would be protected from being shown or used in court. However, these phone calls are not protected no matter who he talks to. Only the defense lawyers, his conversations with them, those are protected from being used as evidence. But from what I've heard, Rick telling his mom or his wife that he was involved, that can be used in his trial. Hi, Shane. Thank you, everybody in Europe who's staying up late to watch this mess. 653 people. Oh my God. Hold on. Hoosier Nini's doing some research on this house. Yep, they bought it for 80,000. Is last, I believe, asking 249.9 now. I saw it was 254 yesterday. I personally couldn't live in that home. Nope. Yeah, me neither. JW says, clearly Rick is not mentally stable if he committed these murders. I hope they don't pull the cuckoo cord. Well, when are they going to pull the cuckoo cord? And also, at what point will Slick Nick, Billy Wolf, I haven't seen you. Billy Wolf is funny. He says that prosecutor Nick is Slick Nick. At what point will he say, okay, we're going to try the death penalty in this case? And once Rick hears that, will he say, okay, I need to do a plea deal? And if so, hurry up, Nick, Slick Nick. Hi, Marshall. Hi, Illegally Blonde. Nice to see you. Hi, Aspen Connor. Hello. At least it's in the documents. I'm sure Tom will mention it. What was it? What's that all about? Let's see. Ira says, will they ever release the phone calls? I think we have to wait for the trial for a lot of this, like, detailed evidence. Hi, Cindy. Nice to see you. Yes, the Taco Bell cup on camera. Hello. I hate drinking in front of like 656 people. All right, anyway. Caricature contest. I can't comprehend what drove Rick to do this, but since he did, he can burn. I mean, I was recently I think about this case every day. Rick's lawyers in some document said Rick went to the trails. They said, quote, which he often did, go to the trails. So if he really was going to the trails by himself, was he passing other women and juvenile girls over? They lived in Delphi for 11 years, from 2006 to 2017, at the time of the murders. So did he start thinking of these, I don't know, like this nefarious scheme to do something to young girls? And February 13th, 2017 was the day that he put some stuff in his jacket, which seems to me like it was pre-planned. I mean, I just can't figure out like what the motive is. And I haven't really seen anybody say. I mean, people think like SA, which I don't like to say inappropriate words or phrases, but like an assault, because they said that like underwear was missing. So, but there was no DNA found. Give me 1 second, sorry. Thank you, 7 days. Let's see. I don't get the part about Abby and Libby's clothing in the unsealed docs. And what's up with the Aquafina bottle? Thanks, Tom. Were you saying that was found in the creek? So from what I remember, in Ron Logan's search warrant, it said that panties and a sock were missing from the crime scene. We've also seen these supposed photos of Deer Creek, which have, I think, 4 items. One was Libby's black and white Nike sneaker. There's a lot, like a white object that might be underwear, and also Libby's tie-dye shirt is in one section. And then I saw one other photo, which looked like a pink item, which may have been a sock. I don't know if another like panties, so that means that one pair of panties and a sock were in the creek. Were there another pair of panties and another sock totally missing from everywhere? So what I was thinking, which is kind of inappropriate, if we think, okay, there's no DNA of Rick at the crime scene, and if this was like sexually motivated, was he holding or doing something with one pair of underwear and the sock to not, like, I don't want to get too graphic, but not leave DNA? I don't know. That was just one thing that I was thinking of, if it is that type of assault without leaving any kind of DNA. Hi, the Rockaways. Nothing in the documents suggests a co-conspirator, despite the prosecutors' claim they are still searching for other actors involved in the crime. Good point. Although at the beginning of this chat, and also I want to thank 2 of my subscribers who made these comments about DNA, and specifically Slick Nick on November 22nd at the hearing to unseal the PCA. He said, we don't want you to unseal it because there might be other actors involved, other people. One of my subscribers said, do you think that means that, so they arrested Rick on October 26th, so they got his DNA. This was like almost a month later at the November 22nd hearing. Does that mean they did not find a match to any DNA at the crime scene that matched Rick? So they thought, okay, maybe there is somebody else involved because we found DNA at the crime scene, but it does not match Rick. So I thought that was a good point about why could they have said other actors. There was one other thing about DNA. Somebody said that the defense is asking for an expert to kind of deny the gun bullet ballistics, that there was an unspent round found near their bodies. And so the defense has asked for money to hire somebody to kind of refute the findings. but they have not asked to hire a DNA expert. So does that mean that they have not found Rick's DNA at the crime scene? However, did they find Abby and Libby's DNA at Rick's house or in his car? Hi, Kevin. Aloha. Hawaii misses you. Mahalo. I'm guessing Rick suffers from schizophrenia, multiple personality disorder, but I'm confused if this was a random act or if there's a connection with the girls. People say that schizophrenia in men usually reveal themselves by, I think, mid 20s or late 20s. So Rick was 44 at the time of the murders. And I know that in this defense team saying that he's exhibiting schizophrenic behavior, a medical professional has not said that Rick was exhibiting schizophrenic behavior. You're confused about if it's a random act or a connection to the girls. They had Libby's phone for 6 years. They did not find any connection to Rick's phone number or an online profile for Rick. So I don't know if he just went out there looking for 2 random girls. And some people say, why would he not do this to the 3 juveniles or 4 juveniles? There's kind of some discrepancy about if there were 3 or 4 girls near Freedom Bridge. I think there was maybe a 4th girl, but she was so young they didn't want to include her or interview her. Why would he not do anything to those girls? Because he had just arrived at CPS. He did not know if a bunch of people were going to be walking from Monon High Bridge. Even if he showed a gun to these 3 girls near Freedom Bridge, he couldn't expect that he could pull this off and then like go take them down the hill past the bridge. I just don't think it would have worked for whatever plan he had. 7 days at sea, quote, generic items to actual items that were possibly used in the crime. What the heck? What items? Well, I was hoping to see some kind of information about the signatures that were apparently left at the crime scene. I just did a burp. Oh my gosh, 670 people watched that. Anyway, some people only watched to hopefully see me conceal a burp and fail miserably. I don't know. There was no mention of any kind of signatures found at the crime scene that matched items taken from Rick's house. I think we're going to have to wait for the trial in January or whenever it gets postponed to. Johannes thinks the defense is just stalling with this stuff. Yeah, the defense said, we're spending all of our time trying to get Rick out of Westville. We're not even focusing on all this other stuff. Oh my gosh, Chemtralia, I haven't seen you in so long. I'm not going to say what your last name is. Nice to see you. Hi, Scott. Scott says astronomical odds of 2 predators being after them on the same day. I guess you're talking about Kagan. Well, Rick said he was on platform 1, and from my calculations, that was on around 153 when witness 4 would have seen him, and then she turns around. Abby and Libby, she sees them about halfway between Mears and the bridge, which is, I think, about 2.5 minutes to 3 minutes from the halfway mark to the start of the bridge. So it's like, where did Rick go? Rick didn't say he saw anybody else. He said he didn't even see witness 4 or Abby and Libby. He sure as hell didn't see Ron Logan. Uh-oh. Don't be mad that I said Ron Logan is not bridge guy. No, you don't have to like my channel or my videos, but thank you. Hi, Trav. Nice to see you. Dave says law enforcement nor the prosecutor said other actors were involved. They said in case other actors were involved. I forget what the exact wording was. I know it was other actors. JW says Rick checked in for mental treatment after the murders, in parentheses, to hide from being identified. That's a rumor. Sorry, I just want to make sure. I don't want to spread rumors, and I'm not saying that you are. I have heard that a lot of people have talked about, did he go to alcohol rehab or mental health either before or after the murders? That has not been confirmed really by anybody yet. Here we go again, hiding under the veil of mental incapacity, yet he lived a productive life after the murders. Yeah, he worked for 5.5 years after it. It's crazy. And he was at work a few days later, and he gave photos of at least Libby to her aunt. I was thinking, like, can you imagine if Rick was the only person who did this? he goes and he talks to the conservation officer, and then like the next day or later that day, there's a screen capture of him on the bridge. He had to be thinking, "Oh my gosh, I'm totally caught." And I think they also released the down the hill part, the audio, and just like day after day and week after week go by, and the police never do a follow up. Which some people say, how did his wife not recognize him? Also, there were no police knocking on their door for 5.5 years. And then 2 years later, April 2019, they had the young bridge guy sketch. So his wife would have thought, okay, it was not Rick. So, I mean, I can kind of see how his wife didn't really, I mean, she could have suspected him, but nothing ever happened. Hi, Callie. The Rockaway says the crime was planned. Alan went to the bridge with a purpose. So there must be some digital link to the girls through catfishing. How many phones did he have? I said 19 or so. But why did they not find any link when they searched Libby's phone in 2017? Hi, CJK. Nice to see you. Nice to see everyone. 687 is just going up higher. Uh-oh. Hi, Judy. How can the defense keep Rick's psych records from the state? Well, I read before that the state wants them to go against all these false, or not false claims, but the defense is saying Rick is losing his mind, but they want to keep these records from the prosecution. So for now, I'm pretty sure that the prosecution is still prevented from seeing these records. I think the judge granted that motion in favor of the defense. Oh my gosh. Meerkat, so did the defense know Rick was eating his documents when they claimed he never got them? I don't know. Well, yeah, because I don't know what day he was eating his documents. Oh my gosh. How far behind am I? I'm only like 40 minutes behind on comments. If you're new here, I always say I'm like 15 minutes behind on comments. It gets to be over an hour behind on comments. Sorry. Too many people show up. Oh, thank you so much. D. Berlin, a cartridge equals the bullet and the casing. Thank you very much for clarifying. Hi, Nick. You're probably gone. FJ, what do you think about the picture Rick took of his daughter on the Monon High Bridge? She had posted it on her Facebook. I don't know necessarily that Rick took it. Some people said that was either her high school or college graduation photo. So I don't know if that was before or after 2017. From what I saw, his daughter was 22 in 2017. So it could have been like a high school photo that was just on their Facebook. So what do I think about that? I don't know. Some people say that Rick's daughter resembles Libby and that Rick may have had some, I don't know, issues with his daughter. She got married. So the murders happened February 2017. His daughter, I think, got married November 2017. I don't know where I'm going with that. Fire Tech, thank you. Cartridges are complete bullets. Hi, Heather. 7 Days at Sea. Dang, a 6.5 boot. That's a small foot. Yeah, I thought that the bridge guy, I examined his feet or his shoes in my first video, which is why we're all here. They did not look like big shoes to me, although I may have said they were big in that video. I don't want to watch it. It's like 2 hours and 11 minutes. Nobody has time for that. Hi, Lady Monet. One was a Bowie knife, which is a butchering, vicious knife. Yeah, we were talking yesterday in my members chat. Can they tell if any of the knives that were taken from Rick's house, if they matched like a specific, I don't want to like talk about gory stuff, but the wounds on the girls' bodies, could they match it up to any of Rick's knives? Just the shape of the knife. Thank you, JW. Multi-tools are like Swiss Army knives. Thank you. Seven days at sea. This looks like they took every possible clothing that could have matched what he was wearing in the video clip. I agree. Justin, how was Kagan connected to Bridge Guy equals Rick? Kagan did an interview with Murder Sheet in the past like month or so, and he said he did not know Rick Allen. And police have not found anything to connect them as far as we know. Kagan gets sentenced July 27th. I'm glad you laughed at my stupid joke, Jane. Oh my gosh, you guys are so nosy. Like 12 or something, 11 and a half. Oh my gosh, this chat is ridiculous. Lisa, interesting if DNA is on the sample from the trunk. If you saw my evidence video, which has like over 60,000 views in the first like 3 weeks or something, which I was surprised. I just wanted to make that list for myself, and I thought my subscribers might like it. I wasn't expecting so many people to watch it. So I showed that there are computers on cars, and they can apparently reveal when a door or a trunk was opened. So it's been unfortunately 6 years since the murder. So I don't know if this information is still on Rick's Ford Focus. So if Rick said he left at 3:30, the trails on that day, will it show? So we know that at 3:57, the muddy, bloody witness said they saw supposedly Rick. Will Rick's computer or his car show that he opened his trunk at 4:15? I don't know. Tune into the trial. Elegant sausage. I agree. I just wish he hadn't done this. It's so completely senseless. I totally agree. Dave says, Slick Nick said at the press conference for Rick Allen, look at all these like abbreviations and initials, that the case is an ongoing investigation and they did not want to release the PCA because if there were other actors, they didn't want to tip them off. Okay, thank you for clarifying. Well, some people thought they didn't want to release it because it was coming time for the sheriff's election for Carroll County, and Tony Liggett, who is like one of the lead detectives, he got elected, and they were, I guess, maybe afraid. Although some people think this is a conspiracy theory, I do not think that they waited to arrest Rick until a few weeks before this election, just hoping to get Tony Liggett elected to make him look good. I honestly, I think it makes him look bad that it took 5.5 years to figure this easy thing out. It's like if they truly did go back to scratch in September 2022, which there's speculation that Kagan said something to police about the Wabash River around, I think, August 18th. The following day, on the 19th, these like police officers show up in the Wabash River looking for stuff. Were they looking for, Kagan said, like there's a gun, a knife, some kind of phone related to Delphi? That took almost 5 weeks. So that would be late September. And if they found the conservation officer original tip on September 21st, that's before the Wabash River search ended. The rumor was that Doug Carter got frustrated that they did not find anything in the Wabash River related to Delphi, and he said, go back to scratch. I don't know where I'm going with this. So what was I going with? I don't know. It's fun to have 720 people watching you like forget what you're talking about. Yeah, so my point was, instead of waiting 5.5 years to go back to scratch, if you were like the lead investigator, wouldn't you maybe at the 1-year anniversary go back to scratch before you had, like at the time they maybe only had like 25,000 tips before everybody online started sending in the most ridiculous tip. I want to know how many people tipped in Rick Allen, his bridge guy. While we're talking about that, recently, I think maybe 2 weeks ago, the attorney general in Indiana, I forget what his name is, Rudovic or something. He said in a TV interview that he thinks the reward should be paid out. So was it found because police on their own went back to scratch? Or did somebody tip Rick in? I don't know. In the PCA, it said investigators reviewing prior tips found this tip narrative that Rick gave in February 2017. Tax cut needs clarification. North End or North Face? Yeah, North Face is a famous jacket. It said North End in this. They might have been wrong. There's quite a few errors also in these various documents. Hi, rescue all the dogs. Oh my gosh. Son of Liberty. Rick bought the whole Baby Gap collection. JW says they got the blue jacket, but if you look at the bridge guy in the front jacket, you can see like something, I don't know if it's the gun or something else in that front pocket or his jacket. I mean, it does not seem like the usual Carhartt jacket, which is a duck type canvas or something. It's like a thicker material, which if something is in the jacket of those thicker jackets, you could not make out the detail in Bridge Guy's jacket. And one of the witnesses said he was wearing a windbreaker, which would make sense since it's a lighter material. So I don't know, did they get the blue jacket or not? Rockways, I don't want to say the conservation officer's name. I try to protect people's privacy. I'm 40 minutes behind still. Tessa says, it sounds like they had a lot of excess items in their house, old phones, etc. So I doubt they were the most organized. And she probably, Rick's wife, wouldn't noticed the jeans were gone. Yeah, good point. Because I said the same thing before. Dave, in his opinion, the release of the young guy sketch threw everyone off Rick's trail. Yeah, I mean, but who was even on Rick's trail, so to speak? Oh, okay, so this is the 1/4 zip. It unzips just to get over your head. All right, thank you. I appreciate it. Hi, hippie. Thank you for moderating. We have like an hour left. Hoodie with a partial zipper. Yeah, I'm like really far behind here. All right, thank you for everybody who has corrected me about the cartridge and the sweatshirt. Shane would call it a training top. Alan says he agrees with the Rockaways about the conservation officer. Even if the tip and interview was quote unquote misfiled, didn't the officer think about maybe asking whether anyone checked out the sus guy he talked to? Ridiculous. That conservation officer, I think he works, I don't want to say where he works, but he's still in the Delphi area. Sorry. Son of Liberty goes down about a quarter of the way. I don't know. The Rockaways, I think he was wearing a baseball cap with his shades up on the brim, like we've seen in some other photos. Well, the girls who passed him near Freedom Bridge said he had, like, his mouth was covered up to his nose. And my face looks really red. It's not. So I don't know. Why was his face covered if Abby is out there in a light sweatshirt? The girls didn't want to wear jackets, but Kelsey told them they had to. Homeboy likes his Walmart, eh? Lauren says Rick is a big fan of blue, for sure. Rockaway says that the conservation officer was literally standing at the press conference where they released the images and asked for more info. Yeah, so in April 2019, when my friend Doug Carter said, we're looking for the driver of a vehicle that was parked at the CPS lot between noon and 5. Why did Rick not come forward and say, yeah, I told the conservation officer that I was there? I mean, you could say, well, he had already told, he told the conservation officer he was at the old Farm Bureau building, but there's no way he was anywhere other than CPS for him to have been captured on camera at 127 headed towards CPS, and then he sees these girls on the trail. These girls took a photo on bench 1 at 1:26 p.m. and they said they passed Rick soon after. Rick admitted he passed them, so there's no way he did not park at CPS. He works at CVS. These abbreviations are ridiculous. He worked at CVS, which is like 1 block away from the Carroll County Sheriff's. Like Tobe and Liggett had to have been coming in to CVS and seeing Rick. It's like, why would he not say to them, hey, I was at CPS. I heard you're looking for the driver. I was there from 1:30 to 3:30. I did see other cars or I did not see other cars. It's like, I think it's guilty for him to have not come forward again in April 2019. You can disagree, but that's my opinion. Yeah, I was not expecting Rick's wardrobe to be so extensive. Hi, Fibro. Yeah, I'm on my Mac right now, so it's dark screen mode in the background. Oh my gosh. 7 days at sea thinks having 19 cell phones mean you have CSAM on them. Well, where were these phones? Did his wife have access to them? Because he's not, if they're in a drawer, he's not going to obviously put CSAM stuff in there. Was it in his shed or, I don't know, locked up somewhere? Son of Liberty, I think you're talking about the katana, is it called, or something? It's a swordlet, a weapon commonly wielded by the Wee folk. Oh my gosh, I can't with some of these things. Elegant Sausage thinks that Rick and his wife are hoarders. Oh my gosh, what is that? Fibro says, why keep old phones? Because some people don't want to just throw them away and they don't want to resell them because people might find your embarrassing selfies. Good point, Dave. Nothing about cat hair. Tom Webster has totally speculated about cat hair and a lot of other people. So no mention of digging up Rick's cat in his backyard. The reason that that's been rumored is because the Ron Logan search warrant said unidentified hairs, and people speculated because Tony Klein's dog's hair was taken by police, and so people thought there must be some kind of animal hair at the crime scene. We know it's obviously outside, and there could have been a variety of animals in that area at some point. Hi, Tom. Thank you. Nice to see you. Did you see his house is for sale? Yeah, we talked about that a little bit before. Somebody said there's an offer already. Where am I? Patricia, hold on. Patricia says Rick's wife probably went to see him May 30th to make sure he signed the divorce documents. Well, she showed up in court on June 15th. So if she wants to divorce him, why would she show up? I mean, that's just my opinion. Don't be mad. Yeah, and why would Rick stop? He hasn't made any phone calls since his confession on April 3rd. That seems kind of suspicious. Sorry, I'm just looking for comments we have not talked about yet. Hi, Hannah. I wonder if maybe Rick's wife was afraid to confront him. I mean, if I suspected my husband of murdering 2 girls, I'd be pretty afraid of him. And also, it's like They've been together for 25 years. Do you really suspect that your husband could be capable of killing 2 girls and then coming home for dinner? I would hope most people would say no. So, I mean, I can understand how she would be, I don't know. I try to see both sides of whether she's complicit or not. Good point, Meerkat. Good on law enforcement for keeping the bullet a secret. He would have gotten rid of the gun if he knew they had it. Very good point. What do I want to say about this bullet or the unspent round? From what I've heard, and this might not be true, so anything you hear here, anything you hear in my chat, don't repeat to anybody. We know about this Bicycle Bridge Road search warrant, which happened within the first few days. If you remember, there was a police report of a house at nighttime, and police took stuff from it. There's a rumor that they took a gun. So I think it may have been the same like type of gun that Rick has. And also one of the family members near the crime scene, they took his gun for I think a few months. My speculation, and then I've heard somebody else say this too. Did police check those 2 guns, which were similar, and like run ejection tests through it to see if it matched the crime scene unspent round? And those other 2 local guns did not match, but Rick's analysis did. That's just a rumor. I was going to say this before. I'm not saying it out loud. Hi, Metal Mom. Hello, Metal Mama Michelle. Thank you for becoming a member. I know you're from It's a Crime and Shame chats. Sick Nisco. Can you show us the call between his mom? No, it's just referenced very quickly in the document. There's no like transcription or text. 50 more minutes. One moment sounds better than hold on. All right, I'll try and speak properly. Thoughts arrive. If Rick is confessing, why do you think he/his lawyer are still pleading not guilty? I guess he's hoping for the best. I don't know. Maybe he's hungry for more documents. I don't know. I think he's trying to get away with it. He's hiring an expert to try and refute all the like gun or unspent round evidence. I just totally burped again for the second time. Oh my! Why 748 people? Oh my god! And my face looks so red. All right, sorry. I'm sweating. This is why some people watch, to see these awkward moments. All right, I'm trying to keep it together here. Judy thinks that Lil Ricky is faking, trying to get a pass based on being mentally unstable. Well, from what I've seen, if he's found like mentally unstable and goes to a mental institution where some of you people need to be, I'm kidding. Those conditions are apparently worse than a prison. Kagokio said that he wants to go from jail to prison because he heard that the conditions in prison are better. He said like you can study or something. I don't know. We'll see about that. People in Europe need to go to bed. Don't stay up late for my stupid live chats. But thank you for joining, EK Revolver. Hi, JD Coop. The voice wasn't until later, so maybe she already was uninterested in the case. But no, Down the Hill was released on February 15th, along with the screen capture. Then in July is when they released the full video. And also about the voice. So I don't know how his wife, his daughter, his mom could not have recognized it. I guess maybe he said to them, well, it was not me. And the family thought, okay, well, maybe it's another guy who has a similar voice and similar clothes and similar height who was on the trails that day at the same time. I'm hoping, since Rick is probably not going to be on the witness stand, like hell no. If I was innocent, I would be on the witness stand. Um, I'm hoping that the police did a high quality recording of his October 26th interview where he went to the Indiana State Police location so that they can use that in court to say, okay, here is Rick's voice in a high quality setting, not his wife's Facebook in a bar or on the ski lift or whatever. So yeah, I'm hoping that people will get on the stand and say, yes, I know Rick. That is his voice saying down the hill, which they only have to prove that he is the guy on the bridge who told them to go down the hill. Let's see. WL22, hi. Eating the Evidence sounds like a great album or band name. Oh my gosh. So does Slick Nick. Somebody called Rick Sick Rick. I don't know. JW, I still can't make sense of the Anthony Shots meetup. So in Kagokio's August 2020 police interview, the police said to him that, I think it was Detective Vito, he said that Kagan was on, I guess on Instagram or Snapchat on the night of the 13th when the girls were still missing. And this girl said to Anthony Schatz, which was Kagan, did you hear what happened to Libby? And he replied, oh my God, no, what happened? Something like that. And she said, I think that they were missing at that point. And then Kagan replied, oh my God, no, sorry. He said, I was supposed to meet her and she did not show up. However, there was another reference to that interaction later in that police interview where the wording was a little bit different. And also, it was never specified which location and which day. A lot of people assume it was at the bridge on the day of the murders, and I think that's fair, but it's never been confirmed. Also, Kagan got these photos and videos from like over 100 girls, and he was not meeting like all these girls. He just wanted the photos. So why would he say that he was going to meet up with Libby? Murder Sheet, I know at some point a year ago, maybe, they said that Kagan searched the Marathon gas station in Delphi on the day of the murders. I've not seen that in any police documents. And also, if that's true, why did the police not bring that up in his August 2020 interview? I don't know. Hi, Anne. The biggest new thing for me was the search warrant affidavit was that Libby's phone was found under her body. That said to me, he really didn't stage the bodies. He was an idiot slash monster in a panic. Well, if the bloody and muddy witness is true at 3:57, and he took them down the hill at 2:13, that's how long is that? Like over an hour and a half over by the crime scene. Like, what was he doing? I mean, I've speculated that he may have tried to get them to do stuff to each other, and I don't know. Yeah, I have no idea what happened over there, but that's a long time to be doing stuff over there. We know that there were at least 3 or 4 items in the creek. I've speculated before that maybe Rick felt like his DNA got on those items, so he went down to the creek with those items all at the same time and put them under the water to try and get his DNA off of them. I'm not sure that that's true. Yeah, I don't know why he was over there for so long. We've heard of these various signatures. Some people said this is a total rumor that maybe something was carved into a tree that may have been like Odinist. It's like, I don't know if it's a religion or something like that. Maybe like a symbol. I don't know. I don't know. That's just one thing that I heard. So I guess we'll have to wait till the trial to see um, what these signatures were. 7 days at sea. Were they shot or stabbed? They were stabbed. It was, and the legal documents have only said with a sharp object. They've never said a knife, but obviously they took all of Rick's knives and stuff. Um, so why would Rick's unspent round be at the crime scene? My speculation is that he approaches the girls. One of the girls on Libby's video says the word gun. There's a longer audio file where it says guys, and then there's some static, which I've tried to analyze, and I think it's it's Abby kind of yelling the word or the name Libby in a scared way. I could be wrong. I'm probably wrong. So did Rick come up to the girls and he showed them his gun and he pulls back the gun, but there was already a cartridge inside, and like pulling it back made another cartridge come up. So that one cartridge pops out. Did Rick see it pop out near the bridge and he picks it up and then they go down the hill and he put it in his pocket of his jacket? And then maybe when he was moving the bodies later, the bullet fell out there unbeknownst to him. And then he gets home and he puts his hand in his pocket and he's like, oh my God, where's the bullet? And then he freaked out. I don't know. That's just my speculation as to how that unspent round could have gotten out of his gun without him really knowing it and out of his pocket. Somebody said, well, when they crossed the creek, if it was really, the creek was high, which we saw the helicopter footage from the 14th, these searchers at one point, it was up to about their waists. And Rick is apparently, there's a lot of speculation about his true height, if he's 5'4" to 5'7". But I don't know. I would think if the water was up past his pocket, that like a bullet, if he did not like he obviously wouldn't have put the zipper down if it fell out later. I don't know. I'm rambling. Let's move on to something else. Hi, Mel. Mel fell asleep. A lot of people have fallen asleep during it. People say they watch my videos to fall asleep, that my voice puts them to sleep. You're getting sleepy. Oh my gosh. Everyone's talking about my pants. I'm wearing shorts. Everybody calm down. What are we at? We have 40 more minutes. And there's 782 people. Oh my gosh. Tom, stop looking at how many people are watching you. Miracle Hearts 2. His wife would know how to force an answer out of him at the right moment. Are you talking about around the time of the murders or on the phone? I'm never going to get to your response. Sorry, I'm like an hour behind on the comments. Or no, 50 minutes. Diana would appreciate you reading my 30-page Word document of the summary of 120 documents. All right, I'll see what I can do over the next week or so. Hi, Betsy. Nice to see you. JD Coop ain't heard no audio of the confession. Well, wait for the trial. Babu's frick, that corroborate nothing, or as Kagan says, corroborate. People make fun of him for saying that. Whatever. Kagan did an interview with Murder Sheet, and he said the word corroborate a few times, but people thought he pronounced it corroborate. Maybe he can work on his pronunciation in jail or prison. Jails don't have pronunciation classes. Sorry, I'm improvising here as I look for comments. Kathy's here, so I'm going to have to highlight one of her comments. Cognitive dissonance permits you to believe anything despite obvious evidence to the contrary. I think this was when people were talking about Rick's wife not like realizing Bridge Guy was her husband. Fibro says, you can slow chat down. Let me look. I'm in StreamYard. Oh, gosh. Yeah, it's going by kind of fast. And somebody just deleted a comment. Yeah, I don't see it go by so fast. So next time, I know I can set like 30 to 60 seconds between comments, but I know sometimes like people run over the allowed character. So I did not do that this time. If there's ever another live chat, I'll remember to do a delay. Sorry if it's too much. There's too many people here. Johannes, oh my gosh, Johannes, is Rick on suicide watch? How could he attempt suicide twice in his jail? I was referring to the guy, Robert Baston, attempted suicide twice. Rick apparently is on a suicide watch. At one point, I think other prisoners, known as companions, were sitting outside of his cell. But I think they removed the other prisoners, and now it's just the prison staff are watching him. Scumbag Trav. I hope Rick Allen got paper cuts on the dock's way out. Oh my God, I didn't know it meant that. Okay, sorry. EL didn't know Rick was vegan. Yeah, I mean, I was like, holy crap, he's eating papers, like the evidence. The Rockaways makes a good point. The wife could think he is guilty and still love him and want to support him. I mean, it's got to be horrible on her, her daughter, and Rick's mom. But I mean, I think they need to, all three of them, go to the prison and say, Rick, enough is enough. If you did this, stop all this nonsense, dragging it out, causing these family members to have to continue this nightmare day after day. HZY. He confessed to being on the trail the day of the murder. Yeah, he said he was there from 1:30 to 3:30. Bridge guy told them at 2:13, go down the hill. That was on Libby's video. And he told the police in October 2022 that he was on platform 1 of the bridge. And witness 4 saw him on platform 1. I'm looking for comments. What am I supposed to say? Just a moment, please, instead of hold on. Girly girl, aka Becky. I just hope that the bullet isn't the only evidence. If he had been in segregation for a long time, it can cause mental issues. If he had made the confession early in his detention, I wouldn't question it. I know, but really, if you're like really innocent, are you confessing to your wife and mom and then you stop communicating with them? And he didn't allow he's been in jail or prison since October 26th. And May 30th was the first time he let anybody from his family show up to see him. I mean, if you were innocent, wouldn't you want to see your wife every weekend? I mean, I know some people are like, hell no, I'd put her in prison. Hi, Cheddar's mom, Missy. I'm assuming that's a cat. A lot of people have cats who follow me. Oh my gosh. Rockaways said false confessions are very common. I wouldn't get too excited about that. I don't know. Renee says Rick's house is currently pending with the asking price of 25,000. I'm sorry, 254,900. I was expecting like some YouTube content creators to show up at the open house with like video recorders. Oh my gosh, I'm not repeating that one. Anyway, moderators, you missed a comment that should have been deleted. I'm not going to highlight it. I try to keep these PG, and I'm seeing some PG-13 comments. Babu's, we'll go with Frick. Do you think they have more evidence than what's in the released documents? Yes, I do. Because they have not released what they found on the phones, his computers. Yeah, I think they're still examining stuff. Like the prosecution is still working on evidence. So I'm hoping there's more. From what I've seen, if I was on a jury, can Rick get on the stand and tell me how witness 4 sees him on platform 1? He said he was on platform 1. And then he says he never saw anybody else after he saw the 3 juvenile girls. So that's 2 hours on the trails where he said he did not see anybody. Please. So as a jury member, I think he's guilty of something related to this. I think I've not seen any evidence that somebody else is bridge guy. I don't think it's Ron Logan. I know people are going to get upset, but I don't feel like going through my lists of why it's not Ron Logan on the bridge. That's not a down the hill is not a 77-year-old man's or grandpa's voice. Rockaway said Kagan also confessed to being there, so let's put things in perspective. I don't know if you're being sarcastic. Whatever. Not whatever, but hi Cryptex. Yeah, Paisley says the GPS search for the gas station that day. I don't know if it was GPS. I've not seen like what kind of device Kagan supposedly searched Marathon gas station on the day of the murders. You say the Kleins are involved in your opinion. Kagan's dad has not been arrested for CSAM or the Delphi murders, and Kagan hasn't been arrested for Delphi. I have to do my third burp of the night. Oh my gosh, 796. Oh my gosh. Oh. It says an hour and 30 minutes and 50 seconds. I think 30 more minutes. I'm almost an hour behind on comments. Let me skip a bunch of this. Sorry. If I don't read your comment, don't take it personally. There's too many people here. Hi, Tids from the UK. Oh my gosh. That sounds inappropriate. Oh my gosh. Awkward silence. JW, wife can be called to authenticate that she was on the call without violating spousal privilege. All right, thank you. I'm not gonna her. I saw a picture of her, which I don't think was appropriate for somebody to take a picture of her and her mom outside of the June 15th court hearing, but I looked at it. Her hair is really gray. That's all I'll say. Except the very ends. I feel bad for his wife and his mom. Miracle Heart says, I guess his wife really had no other choice but to sell the house if he's not bringing in an income. Guess she believes him, what, that he's guilty and he's never coming home? I don't know. I know that you might mean that she believes he's not guilty, but I don't know. Fibro says, what other crimes has Rick gotten away with? Bet those hard drives, etc., will reveal a lot. Well, they've had Rick's DNA in the Indiana, or I think it's a national system, a DNA database. Did Rick's DNA match up to any other unsolved crimes? And at what point would he be charged with those? I don't know. People wonder if he has murdered before. There was that Evansdale murders of the two young cousins who were also found by a body of water, I think, in the afternoon. I don't know. Hola, ciao, hello, aloha. Judy says there is no proof that the guards have been harassing him. There seems like to be a lot of lies from the defense team, and this Robert Baston guy who said that guards have been harassing Rick, he has a history of complaining. Billy Wolf is the one who calls prosecutor Nick Slick Nick. That's not a Tom original. Hi, Heather. Thank you. Hi, SP74. The defense says Rick's not stable mentally, but they're blocking the mental health records. Yeah, they don't want the prosecution to see what's going on. And as far as I know, the prosecution has been blocked from seeing those mental health records. Oh my gosh. I'm the worst live chatter. Why don't you? I want all of you, 797 people. You have to host your own 3-hour live chat to see how horrible it is. Yeah, some people love the Taco Bell cup. That's vodka, not water. Um, Thank you for loving my backgrounds. Yeah, when I first started doing these live chats a year ago, I showed pictures of Abby and Libby, and it was just too sad to see their smiling faces for 3 hours. And then I showed Kagan, and nobody wants to see that. And then I showed Rick, and nobody wants to see that. So I'm trying to use like a more serene background during these live chats. Hi, wishful thinking. I haven't seen you in a while. Where have you been? I'm kidding. Um, I did cover this. My thoughts on the litigious inmate Robert Baston. Has he been buddying up to Rick to give him tips on eating paper? I'm not a, I don't know. Robert Baston is a bastard. Sorry. I'm the most polite YouTuber you've seen. Do other YouTubers like burp 3 times on their live chats? Oh my gosh. Hi, Tammy. Yeah, hopefully for some of you people, you got something out of the beginning part where I reviewed the most interesting points from those 120 documents. Do I think Rick is a thrill killer? I can't figure out the motive or what would have caused a 44-year-old guy to go to the local trails where he's lived for 11 years at 1:30 with stuff in his jacket, thinking what? Like I'm gonna assault 2 girls or one woman, a girl, kill them? I just don't understand how he thinks he can then go back to working at CVS in Delphi, which for people who don't know, my peeps in Poland, CVS is a pharmacy, but it's not just for getting medicine. They have like makeup and food and other nonsense. So it's like a place where most of the people in town would be going. So how could you think you're going to do something in the woods and get away with it without, I guess, killing your victim so they can't identify you? I guess you could say that Rick was covering up his mouth near Freedom Bridge when he passes the 3 juveniles and wearing a hoodie so he could not be identified later. And it seemed to work for 5.5 years. And if he did not go to that conservation officer, this case still probably would not be solved. I don't know. There's some crazy stuff in this case. Hi, Lynn. Do you think Rick will change his plea to guilty? It's been 8 months. What's it going to take for him to change it? Will Slick Nick have to say he's going to do the death penalty? Because it seems like Kagan, burp number 4 coming out. I'm kidding. Kagan, once the witness list was released for Kagan's trial, soon after that, Kagan changed his plea to guilty. So I don't know, does the prosecution have to do something to scare Rick into revealing the truth? Imagine if I let out a huge burp during a live chat. Oh my God. I can't. I'm too polite. How much more time? 22 minutes? Yeah, I have to go. Rockaway says Rick parked his car to hide his license plate and rushed with a purpose to the bridge right before the girls arrived. The crime was planned. I try and look at both sides of pretty much everything. And people would say that Rick backing that thing up in the CPS parking lot is suspicious. And I know one of the witnesses or who's driving by said that was unusual for somebody to park in that area at the CPS lot. But at some point, you're going to have to back up to get out of that lot. So some people prefer to back their car up when they first arrive at a location so they can leave quicker. So I'm not going to automatically say that Rick backing his car up at CPS is suspicious. But I mean, it could be. Thank you. I don't like to repeat those comments, but I don't like to ignore people saying nice things. So thank you, Easton. Darren wants to know if law enforcement ever said if the girls were assaulted. They have not said if anything was done to them. No. They have not even said like which part of their bodies were stabbed, although I've heard rumors. I don't want to get into it though. High Bridge Manet. Low-hanging fruit. Remember the bottles the girls were rumored to have a Gatorade and a water bottle? I've never heard that. I thought I knew almost everything about this case. Hi, Cryptex. I talked about this at some point before. I thought maybe Rick's DNA did not match the crime scene within the few weeks after they arrested him. And then Nick said other actors on November 22nd. So was there DNA at the crime scene that did not match Rick? So they thought maybe somebody else was also involved. Michelle says, I think the Anthony Schatz stuff and any Klein connection will be in the remaining sealed documents. Yeah, there's some documents that remain sealed. Although I got all the unsealed stuff, but I can't release it. No, I'm kidding. If it involves CSAM and soliciting pics, etc., then it will be important to protect the girl's reputation and family harm. I don't know, but don't they want to get justice and arrest whoever is involved? Oh my gosh. Nick Uyak, why couldn't one girl run away? Poor kids. Yeah, I don't know what could have happened. Once he says go down the hill, Libby turned off her phone. And one of Libby's sneakers was found on the south side of the bridge. One was found in the creek. I don't know. I don't know what happened. I've tried to think of different things that could have happened, but I just can't figure it out. Ira says, if he is confessing left and right, he might be going for a false confession angle. Along with the teasing, maybe he is trying to paint a picture of his unfair treatment in prison, making him confess. I don't know, but like, what's the end result for him? I mean, why is he screwing around and even like faking being mentally ill? Sorry, somebody lived near a serial killer. Oh, you were talking about the house being for sale? Carla says anything is possible regarding the criminal mind and his fantasies. Yeah, some people say if we can't understand how a killer thinks, that's good that we're not thinking like a killer. Mona L says there's a sign next to the phone in jail that the calls may be recorded, but Rick is in segregation and he has a tablet where he makes his phone calls. He doesn't leave his prisoner of war cell. Oh my gosh. I have to talk about my wardrobe. I changed my shirt before. I've worn 3 shirts today. How much more time? Oh my gosh, 17 minutes. Can you guys handle that? I think we've talked about pretty much everything. How many? I'm an hour behind. No, I'm 57 minutes behind on comments. I'm going to skip over like 20 minutes. I'm sorry, everybody. Just because you said Kagokyo, you forgot the H, Hannah. Have they ruled out a connection with Kagokyo yet? He was not mentioned in these documents. They could, any reference to Kagan might be in the sealed documents. I don't know. At what point are they going to charge Kagan with the Delphi? They've had 6 years to find evidence to charge him or his dad, and still no charges. Illegally Blonde, I still believe someone on the other side of the creek was waiting to help him. I don't know. I think a lot of us wonder how could one guy contain two girls? Obviously, Rick had a gun. I don't know. And they said that there were no defense wounds on either girl. That was in the Ron Logan search warrant. I don't know if that's true, but it's like, how could he stab two girls? I don't know. I don't want to get into gory details. Tom, you have the best true crime channel. I don't know about that, but I've only done 2 cases and like 6 videos total. Very informative and entertaining. I try and like save people time and condense all of my research into this case and Missy Beavers. So that person doesn't want anybody to know the real name that they like me. Cappy22, I think he was trolling the area for years, finally found opportunity where he thought he could get away with it. Yeah, well, I think that he parked at CPS and not Mears. So if you saw my deep dive on Rick Allen, I showed a map where from Rick's house to the trail, he could have taken the route through Delphi's the center of the town or the Hoosier Heartland Highway. And I think it was about 6 to 7 minutes from his house. However, he went the long way, which I think was maybe 11 minutes. So he passed the Mears lot where he would see any cars that were parked there. Then he parks at CPS. So if he was planning something bad, he had to park at CPS to walk the entire trail to see who was on the trail and if he could like trap two girls at the end of the bridge. However, I've said it's only like 5 to 6 minutes from the Mears parking lot to the bridge. So from the time he took them down the hill, if somebody randomly showed up at Mears, there's not a lot of time for them to not see them in the creek or whatever. There was no screams heard. So I don't know if he had them put masking tape on their mouths at some point to prevent them from screaming or what. It'll be interesting to see the final autopsy report or if that comes up in the trial, that at some point maybe he had them put tape over their mouths and then removed it after they were killed. I don't know how I should pronounce your name every time. Johannes, that's your new name. There were people all over the place and he still did this. Why not do it when there were fewer people around? Well, I just said that he walked the entire trail and did not see anybody. He never admitted to even seeing witness 4 looking at him on platform 1, which I think she was there just to exercise, and she would just probably look and see the bridge and then turn around. So she may have just looked real quick and he did not see her. Girly girl, aka Becky, I want to know what they find on his electronic devices and cell phones. Me too. I'll be reading those documents. Although we won't find out until the trial. Good point to other people. I know it's in hindsight, but never allow anybody to take you to a second location, fight on the spot. And also not to criticize Libby, but it's crazy. I'm not criticizing her at all. If she had kept her phone recording as Rick got closer, it would be a better view of his face and it would have been solved immediately, like the following day when they found the bodies and her phone. I'm not criticizing her, but it's just so crazy that because she had an iPhone 6 with low quality and she got a quick shot of Rick from like 60 feet away, the face was not clear enough. It's crazy. Meerkat, the defense is tired of driving so far. It seems like it. And actually, Judge Gull, I have not given her a nickname yet. She apparently at the June 15th conference or the hearing, she criticized the defense and said, these seems to be complaints about stuff that is affecting you and not your client. Cheryl says that Rick is self-medicating with alcohol. And people say that he lost so much weight and they think it's because he's been denied food in jail. But people say, well, if he was addicted to alcohol and had junk food at home, obviously he's going to lose weight. over the past 8 months. And the warden said that his BMI, his body mass index, is in line for his height, whatever that is. SP-74, I think some people thought we were going to see the discovery evidence, but these are court filings, although surprisingly not redacted. Yeah, I mean, they showed like the full names of these juveniles and stuff. They were supposed to redact that stuff. But there was some unknown information, SP. Carla says Rick took advantage of the day off for school kids that day and an unusually warm day. Good point. I don't know if he found out his daughter was 22, so she would not have had like a school day off because of they didn't use up the snow days. Maybe at CVS he was told or overheard people saying that the local kids were off both the Friday before and the Monday after the weekend. Nifty caffeine. Rick was on the bridge on the day and time of the murders. He killed them. I mean, if you want to boil it down to the lowest possible stuff. And he was wearing what's bridge guy was wearing, and I don't know. There's a lot of evidence for me that it was Rick. Hi, Brooke E. Thank you. Supposedly only 9 more minutes. We'll see what happens. Who's your Nini? I wonder what the cartridge in the wooden box in between the 2 master closets is about. Yeah. Somebody said like a suicide bullet. I don't know. Sorry, I'm looking for anything that we have not talked about yet. Oh my gosh. Do I have any moderators? Some of these things, these comments. Sorry, I'm just looking for something that we have not talked about yet. Maybe I should just end the chat. Becky says, why are they still being so secretive about this case? I understand protecting the integrity of the case, but this is ridiculous. Well, you don't want prospective jury members to hear all this stuff or hear all the evidence and then not be able to find a jury. Oh my gosh, some of these comments. Yeah, I'm not highlighting that one, sorry. Oh, right on cue. Thank you, Gretchen. What are you guys talking about? Leprechaun sausage? This is a good point, Cheddar's mom, Missy. Do you think Rick did the creeped out, oh my God, I was just on the bridge today to his wife? Well, I want to know how many people he said this to. Because if I was on the trails the day of the murders at like from 1:30 to 3:30, I would have been freaked out and sad and telling like everybody I worked with, yeah, I was on the trails at the time. I did not see them. I did not hear them. I didn't hear anything. Did Rick not really tell a lot of people? I know there's been a recent like Facebook post that was found where he may have gone to a local bar on the 14th, the night of the 14th, to play pool. And he may have told somebody that he talked to a conservation officer and that he was cleared or whatever, just as a witness. I don't know. Oh, Billy Wolf is here. Judge Gull. No, it's Gull. Gull. Feisty Fran. Billy is the one who said Slick Nick. Hi, Amelia from Finland. Thank you. Am I stopping in 5 minutes? Let's see. Hi, Digital. I heard Rick was good friends with Garrett Kurt's father. I have not heard that. Garrett Kurtz was arrested for 2 other murders in the area. Just looking for comments. I'm sorry if I did not get to your comment. Hi, TD368. Haven't seen you in a while either. Oh, Spark Plug Peggy. I haven't seen her. I don't see her comment. Some of these screen names. Hi, KT Recovers. I haven't seen you either. Maybe I need to do live chats more frequently to see you guys. Who told Libby's friend, oh my God, I was supposed to meet them there? That person would be super suspect. That was Kagan as Anthony Schatz. And also, there's a rumor that the girl may have been Ski Mask Girl, which we won't even get into if Ski Mask incident even happened. I'm going to try and find out after Kagan is sentenced. Hi, little daisies. Nice to see you. You didn't miss anything. Hi, Precy. Did you ever estimate what size shoe Missy Beaver's killer has? No, I did not. I have a 4 hour and 51-minute video on the Missy Beavers case if you're bored. It's still unsolved 7 years later. Let's see. Amy Celeste, North End is also a jacket maker in addition to North Face. Thank you. There's Spark Plug Peggy. I'm interested in who's behind the Reddit account that mentioned Richard by name way before his arrest. So I think instead of Reddit, it was 4chan, which is a crazy discussion board or something. I've never been there. People said I think you can edit stuff. And also, the other thing I heard about this reference to Richard being Bridge Guy before like October 2022, they said they gave him the name Richard. Like there's a D word that ends with a K. And apparently it may have been just a nickname to call Bridge Guy that without saying the inappropriate nickname. I'm not sure. 1 hour and 57 minutes. When will I stop? Becky says, what if his wife turned him in? Plot twist. What's the reward? 300,000? I don't think it was her. And it truly could have just been the police going back to scratch and they found this paper that had Rick's interview that somehow got misfiled. Hippie says, yes, he still had the jacket, Tom. His wife said so, but she said he still had a blue Carhartt jacket. Was Bridge Guy wearing a Carhartt jacket, or was Rick wearing a Carhartt jacket that day? Or was it a windbreaker with a different material? Joey Tata says he was right about those Arizona jeans. Well, like, I'm improvising this. Like Whitney Houston said to Diane Sawyer, I want to see the receipts of your previous speculation being correct. I'm kidding. Shane, I don't think Kagan is going to get the reward for. Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. Kagan said that once he goes to prison in July or August, he'll talk to the murder sheet again. He said there's stuff about Delphi he wants to wait to talk about, which I don't know what that is. Hi, until tomorrow. Many believe that Rick did not start working at CVS until after the murders. What were his days filled with at the time of the murders? Well, that's not true because Libby's aunt, Tara, said that she went to CVS to pick up photos of Libby like a few days after the murders, and Rick is the one who waited on her and said there was no charge for the photos. Hi, Justin. What's up? Oh, it's an hour and 59 minutes. I'm literally supposed to stop right now. It's 2 hours. I'll do 15 more minutes and that's it. I'm not kidding this time. I'm like a parent yelling at their kids. Good point, Angie Pangie. What the heck does Doug Carter mean about many tentacles? It's pretty cut and dry. Occam's razor. So Doug Carter, I think it was after Rick was arrested, he said there are many tentacles in this case. I don't know. Some people speculated that they went down a lot of different rabbit holes and like the stuff with Kagan and Anthony Schatz. So Doug says he wants to tell that story one day. So when is that day going to be? "7 days at sea. I'm kind of worried that this just isn't enough to go to trial with a jury." You mean have a jury say he's guilty with the evidence that you've seen? Hi, Meg. That officer likely spoke to hundreds of interviews and had not even seen a picture of BG yet. I can 100% see how he did not remember this. I mean, there were like 200 law enforcement officers from maybe 20 to 40 different agencies within the first few days and weeks. So there were definitely a lot of interviews. But I mean, I think you would remember some guy saying I was on the trails from 1:30 to 3:30. How do I look with a red face? Oh my gosh. Yeah, Rick worked at Walmart previously. There's a photo of him lying sideways, like on the shelf at Walmart. Becky says, I don't think people should attack his wife and daughter. They did nothing wrong. I agree. I mean, they're going through a really difficult time. Yes, Rick's house is for sale. It went up a few days ago. Apparently, there's an offer. I don't know who's buying it. Joey Tata, or Tata, the tip probably got buried because they'd have searched for the CPS building and not the old Farm Bureau building. Yeah, I mean, that could be maybe a reason why they thought he was not, I don't know. Shane thinks that when Shane found out that CVS also sells makeup, he thought maybe teenage girls would go to CVS. So maybe he saw Abby and Libby before. I don't know if he just went to the trails looking for any kind of juveniles. Joey, I guess, is talking about, oh, the tip system. Yeah, I know the FBI came in within the first few days, and I think they were kind of the lead at first because they have the Orion tip system. Well, it didn't work out, so update your system. And also, if like there were 80,000 tips, if people didn't tip in from Timbuktu, could they have focused on like the local interviews sooner? Yeah, this is a good point. So there was some speculation recently that the muddy and bloody witness was a lady who tried to run over her boyfriend with her car. And then she came forward later to say that she saw Rick, or a muddy, bloody guy. And that police were so thankful that she said that they let go of her charges about running over her boyfriend, trying to kill him. And when it was released yesterday with Muddy Bloody Witness's real name, It did not match the person that people previously speculated was that woman who tried to kill her boyfriend. Thank you, 7 Days at Sea. Regarding the timeline, how long would he have had to do it? Well, I mean, I don't want to get too graphic, but if they get over on the other side near the crime scene within 5 minutes, that's 218, 220. And if he stabs them really quick, I mean, they die within a few minutes by 225. So that's over an hour for him. Like, what was he doing all that time if he did, in fact, kill them immediately? Time to skip over hundreds of comments. Olivia, his wife is finally selling their house. Just looking for anything that we have not talked about yet. Oops. MA, will we ever find out why? I don't care about how he did it. I want to know why. I don't know that he really needs to tell that if he does some kind of plea deal. Obviously, the families or the police would want to know. Would he withhold that, trying to get some kind of plea deal where he does not get the death penalty? Hi, Vanessa. Thanks for joining. Thank you, Olivia. I'm looking for more comments. Venus Gal, I thought her phone was found away from the bodies. It was under her body. I think, yeah, the most recent document revealed that it was under her body. I don't know. I don't want to get into like what kind of clothes she still had on her body and whatever. Two hours and 7 minutes. Eight more minutes. That's it. I'm not kidding. This is a rumor. Lady Monet, about the crime scene and the signatures. I heard a backwards F, an odinistic symbol was carved. A tree at the scene has had bark removed. Yeah, just remember, everybody, I'm not saying that you're wrong, but there's a lot of rumors that we've all heard. So don't consider that to be definitely true. Just looking for a comment. Sorry for the awkward silence. Hoosier Nini says the gun was to control those poor girls. He didn't use it because of the noise it would cause, most likely. Yeah. SP74, my guess about the cartridge found at the scene, he unloaded the gun so he wouldn't be putting the gun in his jacket with a round in the chamber. Hi, 1111. DNA King, hi, he's a lawyer. Prisoners eating legal documents is not uncommon. It's the most secure way to keep them from anyone else. In fact, it's what I advise clients to do all the time. Are you kidding? There's obviously copies, so why would anybody even eat it? Eat it. That was my weird Al Yankovic impression. On that note, I should end it. Wishful thinking. Does CVS, where Rick worked, sell cell phones? If so, Rick may have phones from there. I know I returned one to Target, so others may return phones bought at CVS, he could have pocketed them. Well, they're going to find out once they do all the forensics on those phones. Anne says, do you think this will go to trial or will there be a plea deal? Just your gut feeling at this point. Love you. Thank you, Anne. It's been 8 months without Rick changing his plea, so it seems like it's going to trial. I don't know. At this point, with this stuff coming out about Rick confessing to his wife and his mom, at what point will his defense lawyers maybe say, you might want to consider a plea deal if you really did have anything to do with this? I don't know. I don't know what the interaction between a lawyer and their guilty or not guilty client is all about. And will it take Slick Nick saying that he's going to do the death penalty for Rick to get scared to maybe want to do a plea deal? Because I don't know, from the evidence I've seen, he's guilty of something, so we'll see what happens. Something totally unexpected might happen. Hopefully he will not kill himself in jail. Yes, we did talk about the phone under Libby's body. Oops, sorry. I like turtles. Hi. Why do you think Rick had headbands? I don't know. And I can't figure out, Bridge Guy, his forehead is totally covered, and Rick has always had a buzz cut. So what I really want to know, like, what is that thing on his head and his forehead? 7 days at sea, leaving Libby's phone behind was a catastrophic error. Hard to think it was too pre-planned. However, I don't know if she had iCloud, which is from an iPhone. Once you take a photo, it will automatically upload to what they call the cloud. So her family would have had access to the cloud if that was truly how her phone was set up. Luckily, we're going down, only at 740 people right now. Exactly, Carson. Tom did not solve the Delphi case in the slightest. Exactly. I've wasted 1,000 hours on this case. I don't want to say wasted. That's not nice to say. Oh my gosh. Yeah, hopefully it will not show up that Rick watched my original deep dive. I did not do my client's video until after, or no, that was in September. Hopefully he and his family did not watch my videos. Hi, Dr. Gunsmith. If it was a false confession, why would he tell his wife he did it? And why we've heard like 5 to 6, I don't know if it was 5 to 6 times or 5 to 6, 5 to 6 people. I don't know. I think we're going to have to wait till the trial to find out a lot of this information. Illegally Blonde says Kathy is probably selling her assets before he is found guilty and has to pay restitution to the families. I don't know. I know that in a lot of these cases, there's a civil trial where maybe a family will sue the killer for, I guess, monetary damages. Hi, USA Libertarian. He quote unquote admitted it. We have no idea what the prosecution means by that. Well, the defense team started out the June 25th hearing referencing it. So we don't know exactly what it was, but it seems somewhat damaging. Hi, Jessica. Rick seems like such a baby. It's hard to believe he's a cold-blooded killer. However, I think he looks like Bridge Guy from the video. Yeah, you have to remember that this video is from like 60 feet away and zoomed in so we can like see a better look at this guy. So from fully zoomed out, maybe it will look even more like a short guy. Rick is like, whatever, 5'4", 5'6". Robert says Kleins are involved, in my opinion. Well, it's been 6 years and they have not found anything to charge them with. What do they need? Law enforcement. Hi, Samantha. How many? It's 2:14. I said I was going to stop at 2:15. Oh, God. All right, 2:20. 5 more minutes. That's it. Paisley. So was it a Ford Focus or a purple Chrysler PT Cruiser he was driving that day? So Rick owned a 2016 Ford Focus SE model, which is like the back of that type of model of car. Obviously, you have not watched any of my videos. I showed pictures. I mean, it's an odd shape at the back, which a PT Cruiser is odd. Some of these other witnesses driving by described it as a small SUV and a smart car. And some people are triggered that it could mean that there were other cars there. But from my perspective, if you're driving on Hoosier Heartland Highway at like 60 miles an hour, are you really looking to see exactly what kind of car is parked there? So I can see that these different witnesses gave different descriptions. However, even though Rick said he parked at the Farm Bureau building, he definitely parked at CPS. So that was his Ford Focus there. Sorry, I'm just reading comments. Hi, Heather. Thank you. That's the last nice comment I'm highlighting. Just a few more about the case. CJK, rumor has it was Rick's wife's parents who bought the house, paid in full, question mark, but they can never live peacefully in Delphi, even if Ricky is found innocent during trial. Why not sell? I don't know where she's going to move to, or move in with her mom. I don't know. Lisa, I just don't understand. Even if after all of this, why, if she still loves him, why not divorce him for financial reasons? If you believe in his innocence, then have a great vow renewal later? What? And sorry, don't be offended, Lisa. Aunt Deanie, hi. I call him Icky Ricky. All right, I might have to use that. Where is the photo of Rick's wife outside court? It was on Facebook. Meerkat, the defense said Rick had nothing to hide, and then suddenly they want to suppress everything. Yeah, I know, right? USA Libertarian, the legal process is a game. Nothing necessarily means anything. Don't read too much into anything. All right. We have nothing better to do than to speculate for the next 6 months until the trial. Hi, brown-eyed girl. Nice to see you. Oh my gosh. I'm not saying that one. I'm wrapping this up fairly soon. Hi, Koala the best. Thank you. From what I found from spending like 1,000+ hours on Delphi and like 700 or 800 hours on Missy Beavers is, I don't know that like an online sleuth can solve a case that like the police have not been able to solve, where the police have access to all this information and evidence and we do not. So I don't know that I'm trying to solve any more unsolved murders, but I am trying to find some fugitives. Stay tuned. Oh my gosh. CJK, some channel hosts blatantly lie, are extremely rude to their chat, so a few burps is nothing. Oh my gosh. All right, I'm wrapping this up in like 5 minutes. I'm at 219. I said I was stopping at 220. Yeah, we're wrapping this up. I'll highlight 3 more comments, then we're going bye-bye. And people in Europe can finally go to sleep. Ivy Rose, I still think it's very possible that they don't have the killer's DNA. I've heard from a pretty good source that they have DNA, but it's not a good sample. Well, people have wondered why they were not able to use genetic, like whatever, familial genealogy over the past 5.5 years to try and find the killer, and maybe that's true. Diana, hi Diana. 3 hours, please. Great live, Tom. I can't. I have to do something. Sorry. I really do. Johannes, what broke the case last October? I don't know if they were looking through old files and just found this piece of paper. 2 more comments. MA says, why was one girl more of a target? I've read that Libby was the focus. Well, there was this recent, what was it? It was a documentary, and there was some like leaked transcript of this pre-planning meeting with some locals. And from what I've read, and this is just a rumor, don't quote me on this, I thought like Abby's body had more, if you want to call it, damage than Libby. So I don't know that that's true, but that's just something I've heard. It's just a rumor though. What's my last comment? Hold on, or please wait a moment. Hi, Miranda. I haven't seen you in a while. Hope you're doing okay. Feisty Fran instead of, what was your previous one? What is my final comment? Sorry, I'm just looking for one like final thing to talk about. Am I going to find anything? I know this is awkward. I'm just trying to find something. I don't know if I'm going to find anything interesting. I'm trying to find something we have not talked about. I'm going down to the very bottom. Hold on. All right, I'm just going to end on this one. Joan. From the start, it was clear he had tiny feet. The pants dragged. She's talking about Bridge Guy. They had shoe prints. Should have announced size in the search. Sorry, should have announced size in the search. He had 3 different shoes. I need a break. I need to stop. In the search, he had 3 different size shoes. His short height would have helped. I know. It's like, even if he's 5'7", why could they not release that information? Why did they not go on the bridge? Law enforcement had Libby's phone. Why not go to the exact spot on the bridge where she filmed from, measure people who are 5'2" to 6'2", have them all stand in the same spot where Rick was filmed or Bridge Guy was filmed, and then do like some photo program later and say, okay, this person looks like they're 5'4" to 5'6", and we know it's a guy. I mean, to me, that would have been a huge thing instead of them releasing 5'6" to 5'10". And on that, I'm ending the chat. It's 2 hours and 24 minutes. Thank you, everybody, for joining as usual. I hope you learned something at least in the first 10 minutes. When is my next live chat? I don't know. That's all I have to say. Sorry for the abrupt end, but I'm 24 minutes over 2 hours, though. I'll end with this. What is the picture in the background? I took this in Colorado a few years ago. So thank you, everybody. I'm ending this in 10 seconds. I guess we're going to find out some of the information at the trial. So we have to wait another 6 to 7 months. I might do a summary of all these 120 documents video. I don't know. I'm not promising anything. Bye. Thanks for joining. Thanks for sharing your perspective, your humor.